The Meghan Markle podcast moment that most people missed wasn't just awkward, it was a slow-motion car crash wrapped in luxury branding. Meghan sat there with poise and polish, projecting the image of a visionary entrepreneur unveiling the next billion-dollar empire. But what we got instead was a disjointed, meandering performance, filled with contradictions, shallow mantras, and, yes, jam. Or rather, spread. Even the products category seemed undefined. Let's make something clear, Meghan isn't some scrappy startup founder clawing her way to the top. She married into one of the most powerful families on earth and was gifted an unparalleled platform. And that would be perfectly fine, if she were honest about it. But instead of acknowledging that her royal title is the sole reason Netflix, Spotify, and every major brand even took her calls, she delivers bizarre monologues about creative vision, ideation, and personal branding. She talks like a Silicon Valley founder but without the results to back it up. After 5 years of partnership with Netflix, there's still nothing tangible to show for it. How does that even happen? This is where the facade starts to crack. She paints a picture of herself as the founder of a bold, lean team, small but mighty. But the facts don't support it. Within months of launching her latest venture, 6 people had already exited the project, adding to the long list of producers and executives who walked away during her Spotify deal. That's not lean and powerful. That's chaotic and unstable. Yet Meghan insists she's proud of her team and confident in her vision. It's as if the business only exists in her imagination. The podcast episode was clearly a PR play, an attempt to rehabilitate her image, this time by aligning with a British black female podcaster named Emma. But that too fell flat. Emma was relatively unknown, and even with Meghan's name on the marquee, the episode didn't crack 100,000 views. What does that say about the reach of someone supposedly among the most talked about women in the world? And Emma? She didn't ask any hard questions. The entire conversation felt sanitized, pre-approved talking points wrapped in soft smiles and cautious nods. It was a missed opportunity to confront years of contradictions. How can Meghan claim to be anti-exploitation of her children, while simultaneously leveraging her royal adjacency to sell lifestyle products like jam? How can she boast about her media clout and then insist she's just a humble businesswoman trying to make a difference? There was also that awkward moment when Meghan misinterpreted the concept of imposter syndrome. Instead of engaging with it, she brushed it off like it was an insult. But imposter syndrome doesn't mean you are a fraud, it means you feel like one, even when you're not. It was the perfect moment to connect, to admit vulnerability, to say, yeah, sometimes I wonder if I deserve all this. But Meghan's ego wouldn't let her go there. Speaking of ego, let's talk about the now infamous twerking clip. Meghan brushed it off as a fun behind-the-scenes moment, but the context doesn't match. It was supposedly filmed in a hospital at a time when COVID protocols required masks and restricted visitors. Yet there she was, unmasked, glamorized, dancing like she was filming a TikTok challenge. If we believe Harry's timeline in Spare, they were at that hospital during the restricted period. So how do these things line up? They don't. And it's not just one moment, it's hundreds of contradictions, adding up to a broader pattern, shifting timelines, evolving personas, narrative tweaks designed to impress or appeal but rarely to align. One discrepancy might be noise, but this many is a pattern. Emma, the host, seemed to sense the awkwardness. You could feel the tension on screen, like she knew the episode wasn't going well but had to push through anyway. She smiled, nodded, and let Meghan monologue her way past every red flag. This wasn't an interview. It was branded performance art. When asked about her childhood or early motivations, Meghan dodged. She recited what she wanted, never what mattered. And that's the most chilling part, how comfortable she is inside the performance. She told a tangled tale about learning customer service from her grandfather's antique store, then casually claimed she spent every afternoon for a decade on the set of Married with Children. The timelines don't align, and yet the story is told like gospel. Even when she spoke about building a legacy brand, it didn't sound like conviction. It sounded like corporate jargon, press release language meant to feel sincere without actually being substantive. No product depth. No sales figures. No strategy. Just adjectives like authentic and impactful. It felt like she was describing a brand she wished she owned, not one she was actively managing. At one point, she said, "Failure isn't real, just learning." A cute quote. But people only say that when they've never risked their own money. Real founders know better. Real founders gamble everything, their savings, their mortgages, their peace of mind. Meghan is playing with house money. She's got a royal title, a built-in media platform, and an ironclad safety net. Of course failure doesn't scare her. She's never had to face it without a parachute. She even tried to spin her inability to restock product as a good thing, as if supply chain issues and low inventory were signs of elite demand. But let's be honest, if you believed in your product and cared about your customers, you'd move mountains to restock. Instead, she sounded caught off guard, as if she didn't expect people to actually buy what she was selling. Then came another odd slip. Meghan claimed she launched her social media account in January of this year, when records show it was created in 2022. That might seem minor, but why lie about something so easily verifiable? If she'll stretch the truth about a date on Instagram, what else is she embellishing? And that's the heart of it. Meghan wants the world to believe her brand is based on influence, vision, and authenticity. But the truth is simpler. Her influence peaked during her 18 months as a working royal. Since then, it's been a steady stream of PR blunders and missteps. Yet she still carries herself like the reigning queen of lifestyle media, as if the success is already there, even when the evidence says otherwise. The fundamental issue? Meghan Markle refuses to acknowledge the one truth that underpins her entire brand. Without her royal title, none of this would exist. She's not selling jam. She's selling proximity to power. Every headline, every deal, every podcast appearance relies on one thing, the title she gained by marrying Prince Harry. But instead of owning that, she pretends it doesn't matter. And that's what makes her brand feel so hollow. She wants all the perks of royalty with none of the responsibility, none of the recognition that her relevance is tied to the very institution she claims to reject. She's trying to become a modern-day Gwyneth Paltrow or Martha Stewart, women who built legitimate empires through credibility and consistency. But without substance, transparency, or a real business backbone, Meghan's empire feels like a story in search of an ending.